couple days ago, we reported about the newest wrinkle in the Peter Liang case. Jury originally convicted the former NYPD officer of manslaughter, that after he accidentally shot and killed AKAI GURLEY in a Brooklyn housing project stairwell. But at sentencing this week, the judge reduced the charges to criminally negligent homicide and then sentenced him to probation and community service, no prison time. Now, after jury trial and a manslaughter conviction, how does a judge simply reduce the charges entirely and keep him totally out of prison? Mail, before we get to the justice aspect of it, give me a little 101 here. I thought if a judge presides over a trial, the district attorney presents the charges that he's going to attempt to prove, he secures the conviction. Why later does the judge decide, never mind, what was the whole point of having the whole case if he's going to unilaterally decide that he's going to convict him of a whole different charge?
Well, under Criminal Procedure Law 330, you can make a motion to set
Look at you dropping numbers on me. Go ahead. Yeah.
Set aside the verdict, and basically you're arguing that there wasn't enough evidence to sustain the charge.
But why doesn't that come up, though? I know this is sentencing, but why doesn't that come up when the jury comes back with a verdict of guilty for the more serious charge? Right. Why doesn't the judge at that point have to say, you know, I'm gonna withhold the verdict here. You didn't meet the threshold. You wait till later, the political winds blow, big protests in the Asian community, and then all of a sudden now.
Judges have the discretion to make that decision earlier. They can even strike it prior to the case going to the jury. But quite often, judges want to give the parties an opportunity to litigate it and to determine why they believe it should or should not stand. And that motion is not going to be, most of the time at least, people will reserve in terms of that motion. So you have an opportunity to actually put written litigation together.
If you were the prosecutor, we'll get the DA in a second here because I got problems with him, but wouldn't you say, what gives? I met my burden here.
Well, I would argue that, but in a case like this, it is somewhat questionable as to whether it should have been manslaughter to begin with or whether it actually was a criminally negligent homicide. Crim neg is clear. I think that no one would debate that that should not have been charged.
Yeah. See, there's another issue here that also. The judge, before sending the case to the jury, should have basically dismissed the manslaughter charge and submitted only the criminally negligent homicide. Had he done that, the district attorney would have had no right of appeal. However, by waiting to do that until after the verdict came in, now the district attorney can appeal the judge's decision to reduce the charge to criminally negligent homicide.
Now, as a non-attorney at the table, here's my problem with the DA. DA tells everybody, including the Attorney General, who now under state law has the authority to get involved in police shooting cases, don't need your help. I got this. I'm going to pursue an indictment here, and we're looking at the DA right there as we speak. I'm going to pursue an indictment. He did. He then said, I'm going to get a conviction. He did. He talked about how egregious the crime was and everything else. Then he comes back and says, oh, by the way, yeah, you know what, house arrest will do, and, you know, probation. Then all of a sudden, they come back, instead of house arrest, he just gets probation and community service. To me, not a huge difference between the two. And now he's outraged about it? Come on.
These are difficult cases.
Oh, you Solomon, come on, give me an opinion. You got to admit, he's trying to have this both ways.
I don't care whether he's trying to have it both ways. I care that both the victim's interests and the perpetrator's interests are handled with justice and intelligence. The fact that a judge can overturn a jury verdict is a good thing. Not that he may or she may do it in the right way in every case, but it's not the system that's at fault here.
I don't know if I was the GURLEY family, and I agree, he didn't go in that stairwell. I know I'm heavy. He didn't go in that stairwell to kill anybody. We all agree to that. However, if they just said from the beginning, listen, this is going to be a civil payout, nobody's going to jail here. They didn't do it because everyone had to posture politically, and at the end of the day, we don't feel that the system went the way it was supposed to. I'll get the last word on that. Gentlemen, thank you all. Interesting conversation tonight. We got local headlines up straight ahead. Stay with us.